meeting of the Ag Advisory Board can come to order. We'd have a moment of silence followed by Gary doing the prayer and David doing the pledge. So let's have a moment of silence, please.
Father, we thank you for today. Lord, thank you for this country that we live in, where we're free to do things that other countries are not free to do. Thank you for the land that you've blessed us with and help us to use it well. Lord, help us as a committee to make good decisions and Lord, to just to honor you in all that we do. I pray, Lord, that you be with us tonight as we meet and help us to just reflect on what we talk about tonight. In Christ's name, amen.
Let's pledge.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen, and welcome to the May meeting. First item on we don't have any public comment. First item is the Farm Center sewer system.
Sorry, number 5, we got the minutes from last month.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
Approval of minutes from April 14th. I'm so sorry. Let's look at those. Thank you, James. Do y'all have any amendments or revisions or
Make a motion to accept.
comments? Motion to accept the minutes has been made and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
It's unanimous.
Any opposed? No. All right. So we did send a letter to the Budget Committee concerning the Farm Center sewer system matching funds. It did not get approved or is not in the budget, I'm told, so we need to regroup and think about what else to do. I believe that there've been a lot of cuts across the board, so it's going to be difficult to get a match. Although they agreed to pay the tap fee, the sewer, to the Joint Sewer Authority, the tap-on fee. Once the sewer system is done, they agreed to furnish that, the county did, so that's one positive. So they've done the first reading, they started the budget in January, and they approved the first reading, I believe, last week. And so we'll just have to see where to go from there.
I spoke with him today, and he is waiting on 2 more estimates to come in. For that.
Right, yep, they've got 1 and they're waiting on 2, and that will help our case a whole lot if we have 3 estimates, because people like 3 estimates to see what's fair, what's accurate. That 1 estimate, I think, is around $280,000. They had some verbals before that were a little higher, but as far as written, they're waiting on the second and third written estimate for the sewer improvement. So their meeting, it's tonight, same time we do. So we'll just keep plugging away on that. Kim gave a great pitch for hiring an agricultural person. We sent 2 letters to the Budget Committee, and one was for the sewer, and one was for the hiring of the ag person. And Kim got up, and I saw it on, I was not present, we were out of town, but I saw the presentation. It was very good, Ms. Kim. And they sounded fairly positive about it. They said they'd look into it. She asked if there was no position there, then maybe they could shift another position or duties or be creative. Is that,
There are always positions that are in the budget in different departments that are not filled, or there are no plan, you know, they may plan to fill, but they realize that's not going to be the case. So we're not asking to increase the budget, and I think that was the thing that they were sticking on, is no new positions. So we're not asking them to increase the budget if they could adjust, help me if I'm saying.
Reallocate a position.
Yes,
Whether
reallocate.
full-time or part-time from one department to another, if it remains.
To that department, to help with, facilitate what we need in that department.
and that was a good approach. That was a good angle. Something that's already there that could be modified a little bit. That's attractive. It's easier than starting anew. And something just occurred to me, since Nate's not here, we don't have a minute taker. Could staff help us out?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Thank you very much. That's a valuable contribution. We appreciate it very much. Have you heard anything else? Is that sums it up?
I don't think yes, that sums it up. I don't think we'll necessarily hear anything until we see how they may put a line item in there, because it's really a partnership. We're not asking for it to go in James's department, like the original from the comp plan would. We're asking for it to go to Soil and Water to help that department, which, they'll have to look at that budget and what they pay, because within that office space, there are quite a few, agencies there that the county does help fund in different ways. The building, partial salaries, some full salaries, and what they do. So they'll have to look at how they can make all that work. But that particular line item with Soil and Water, USDA Farm Services, Clemson Extension, and NRCS is crucial. And Charlie just asked me beforehand, he's waiting to hear back from NRCS on something. So that, having an extra person there to help in Soil and Water, even though he needs something from NRCS, while they all are their own entities, the cohesiveness and them working together is crucial for our farmers.
And they're in the same building, so.
They're in the same building, like, as far as from me to you to have a conversation.
Right.
So I think it's important that we have that to advocate for.
Right. It's important they stay strong, a strong presence in Oconee, because I think some of them are part-time Oconee and split the time.
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything about that till we got down to the
We can-
reports,
we
but
can-
I'll go ahead and say, so Trump appointed a new state executive director, May 1st, I believe. It might have been the end of April, but the 1st of May. His name is Cody Simpson. He has a very strong farming background. The family's very large row crop farmers and everything in the Midlands, hay and different. I can't tell you all they do, but he has a farming background. And he knows what farmers needs. And his goal, I believe, is to make South Carolina one of the #1 states again in agriculture, and I think that's crucial. So I think we'll see some changes in USDA and Farm Services. He's just been there a few days, so we'll let him get his feet wet. But I think he needs to hear from our committee. I think we're one of the few committees across the state that the county has an actual ag advisory committee. So I think it's important to get in his ear, and like you said, we need our office open back up. I understand that they're, what do they call them, Charlie? They have an all the acronyms and I'll mess it up. CED, they partner, they co-manage 2 offices. And while I realize they co-manage 2 counties, and there's certain qualifications to have to do that, whoever works underneath them, I believe they call them farm techs. We need our own in Oconee County. We don't need them housed somewhere else. Now, I understand their CED is gonna travel, that's fine, but we need a farm tech for our county. And I think, you know, one in every county makes sense, especially if they're doing agriculture and it's much product, like you said, that we sell in our county. I think it's important. I had someone that came up to me and said, hey, I've been trying to get a farm number since August of last year. And they said, every time I go up there, there's nobody there. I've tried to email the Anderson office, but they've not emailed me back. I've tried to call and I've left voicemail. That's unacceptable. If we want young farmers, we sit here in this committee and complain we don't have enough young farmers, and we want new people to farm, we've got to have them accessibility to what they need. And a farm number is one of the first steps. It's the paperwork side. So I think it's important that we at least have a meeting about what we need to do to have that office position filled every day.
I
Well,
think they were only coming up here on, what, Wednesday?
Yes, now I've heard that since some of the changes, since some of the buyout Doge stuff, that we're getting somebody Tuesday and Thursday. But I have to ask again, if we're the larger sales between the 2 counties, why are we not getting somebody, at least a tech, every day?
That's right. I agree.
And that's my question. Why are we not getting a tech every day? I don't know, you know, what we need to do there, but I do, you know, and that's the farm service side, and the NRCS side works differently, but they could work together, because sometimes, like Charlie and I was talking, the NRCS side may be waiting on something from the farm service side, some kind of paperwork or something that they need from each other. Not necessarily, but sometimes that is a holdup. And and we have a great group up there. Catlin Jones, she is a hard worker at NRCS. If she doesn't have somebody she can get in touch with, if she's always got to pick up the phone and call instead of walk across the hall and ask a question, sometimes you get bogged down. Because you could have a farmer walk in and you're working with them and you forget to call. Whereas if you're sitting there next to each other, it just makes more sense to have what you need in the same place,
It's
in my
what-
opinion.
It's what we used to have.
Yes,
And
it
there's no
is.
reason why we can't have it back.
who can we talk to about it?
I vote the state executive director. Let's start at the top and go
You
down.
mentioned
agree.
him, and
That's
I
what
I
read,
mean, I talked to
read
him,
about.
but I mean, I think that's where we start. Because if he's coming in new, then he will probably make some changes. And if he could make those changes off the bat, sure would make our life easy.
It's not only in the upstate, it's every county in the state right now. Even Georgia's having that problem.
Would it be good to draft a letter and send to the head of the FSA,
I think it would be fine.
NRCS? Would y'all like to draft up what you just told us, or words to that effect, and the meaning, the goal, and bring it back next time and we can look at it?
Sure.
Do you want to invite them to a meeting?
Do what?
Do you want to invite them to a meeting?
I think that would, honestly, I think that would be the best
Oh,
thing to
yeah.
do. I mean, we don't wanna, you know, we don't wanna throw him under a bus or anything, but, and maybe let him get his feet wet, maybe give him, I mean, he just got appointed, I'm assuming, I guess I could have tried to have found out, you know, he's working. And the thing I like is, this time we have somebody that knows what, you know, a poultry house looks like, and knows what farm equipment looks like, and we can actually have a conversation about what we need. So I think that would be key. we can certainly write a letter, certainly reach out and make a phone call. I just think now's the time to do that, so.
I agree.
I agree. Good, good. Well, if you'll draft us up a letter, and that'll give us a little time to let him get settled in, and then we can consider inviting him to a meeting.
But I think he will put the farmer back first. I think he will, be looking at what we can do to help our farmers.
Good, good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
he's good to meet with. I've talked with him numerous occasions about things on the soybean board in this, around the state. And he's really involved. He wants to get involved too. And push South Carolina ag, I think is what he's going to do.
I
And
like,
he's young and energetic, and that's a positive on our side too, I think.
you brought up a good point, yeah, a lot of good points. So-
We have an issue going on now with ADM closing in Kershaw County. We're trying to figure out where we're gonna move the soybeans growed all over the state. So Anderson's one option, since we've got the new bins and everything coming for it, so. The ADM, I don't know if y'all was familiar with that, it closed a couple months ago in Kershaw. And, like I say, we're trying to figure out where to go with these soybeans when they start coming in November. And,
We don't have a lot of time to waste.
it's gonna be and, I mentioned Cargill, they're looking, they could maybe use Kershaw for a satellite, bean crusher, I don't know, which that facility don't crush the oil, that's the thing about it, it only makes meal, it just, but for the chickens and the feed side, that would be great, but anyway, that's something to be thinking about. We might even see what he wants to do if he gets to come about that situation, but.
I'm glad I didn't know they closed.
And maybe if Cargill, maybe that might be another thing that we need to ask Jamie about, if they're looking for a rail site, an off-road site, we still have the possibility of a rail site, that would be closer to our farmers in Seneca, if it's still available.
It is. It is
So-
open.
So that, the more economic development we can get for support for our ag industry, the better off we're gonna be down the road. So,
Yes, ma'am. Good, good. All right, thank you. We'll go back to the signage. I have not been able to get anything back from Mr. Gilbert. He said he would work on some wording for the sign. We could say that agribusiness provides 192 blah, blah, blah million in sales of of products sold to Oconee County. We could say something like that. Products sold is where the census says it, products sold. But we'll hear from him and see what he can probably spruce it up a little better.
The signs that are on Highway 11 in the county, it says welcome to Oconee County, could this not be added to above it or below it?
I was thinking the same thing, add a shingle to it, so to speak.
Our sign don't have to say much, it just,
It doesn't have to, no, it doesn't have to say a lot.
Oconee Ag has so much to the economic impact or whatever,
That's according to all those sign regulations we found out from Mr. Shirley. There's so many that I didn't realize, but that was my thought, to make it match and coincide with the signs that we have.
Yeah.
Didn't we bring that up with Mr. Shirley, and he said that we couldn't do that? We couldn't add signs on existing
He
signs?
said if the county was, he could.
If
But
it's
if
a county, if it's a county sign, we could. Something about height, he would have to check on because of all the regulations, but did he answer that question?
I haven't heard anything about that one yet. So that one would be, we need to make the request to actually add it there, have something that we want to physically put on it, because that will have to go back through DOT and then through council. And I haven't gotten anything from anybody on ideas yet to kind of mock up and put together. But if anybody else has something other than that, we can go ahead and put some of those together and start mocking some stuff up if you want to.
Let's do that. That was y'all's homework. Let's, send James some suggestions of what the wording y'all would like to see on there. I just kind of modeled mine after the last one, but, I mean, whatever is short and effective, you know, I one time saw a fancy electronic sign that went and went and went, and you couldn't read it all by the time you passed by, so it's got to be a short message that catches the eye.
Rex, wasn't yours, we're growing, or how did you word it? The idea you had?
Agribusiness provides 192,869 million in products sold to the economy of Oconee.
Just giving a fact for the,
The dollar, I think the dollar figures, numbers are really powerful, I think, and that's a pretty big number. Like Kim alluded to, it's bigger than Anderson County, it's bigger than a lot of counties, I'm sure. So that's the last census, which sounds kind of old, but I think it's 2017, 22, yeah. It was 2012, 2017, 2022, and it takes a while to get to us, a year or so, but y'all come up with some language you'd like to see on the signs and make it short and sweet, and we'll see if we can add on to a sign. I saw a new one on Cherry Road coming across the bridge at Clemson, welcome to Oconee. It's just a nice brown,
Does it,
welcome.
when it says welcome to Oconee, one time I saw one that was something like 150 years or something. Do we still have, are they still promoting that? Or what do they say, just welcome to Oconee County?
It's got the symbol.
That one just was basic. I don't remember it having anything else but just welcome and the symbol.
Got
It's
it.
out there near the old J.P. Stevens is the
So
one I saw.
just the logo that we normally have?
Yeah,
Okay.
a brown sign. It looked rather wooden, more than the metallic,
Yeah.
but,
It kind of reminds you of a state park. So.
yeah, it looked good. It was on the left-hand side of the road, which I thought was kind of odd, but not really, because on the right-hand side, you got the bridge and the short shoulder and the lake.
Oh, I've seen that.
Left-hand side, you got the shoulder and the railroad track, and then the lake. So, anyway, y'all think of some ideas we can potentially present.
I like that, putting a factual statement on there money-wise, that resonates, I guess you could say, you know, the fact there. It's hard to argue with math, because math doesn't lie.
That's right. I saw one in a neighboring county that was very simple sign, and it was a very small number compared to ours, but still, and it was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it was still, welcome to this county, and here's what agriculture provides, and so, got the message across.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's where we are on the signage, so y'all provide some input, and I'll keep touching base with Mr. Gilbert, see if he's got any ideas. So, next anything else on signs? So, we wanted to provide everybody an opportunity to speak, and we just called it reports from the districts. And so we each belong or come from a voting precinct we call districts, and we'd like to do district reports now, see if you have anything to add or put in about what's going on in your district. And so Kim provided a good report, very good, thorough, and so she represents District 1 in Salem. Nathaniel Duncan's not here. We'll, unless anybody knows anything from his district we want to talk about. District 2.
David's from District 2.
I'm District 1.
Oh, you're District 1?
Oh, okay. No, you're at large.
I'm at large, but I live in District 1.
Okay.
Mine, I think it was 2. You gotta be close to the line.
I am. I can have a Seneca, back when we had home lines, I had a Seneca phone number, and Walhalla Water, Salem, cable TV. I mean, I was right there where I had it all.
Do you have anything to report other than that?
As far as District 1, just like Kim, I live in an area that farming is pretty much non-existent anymore. And, it's hard for me to comment because, I'm here to try to help the districts that are not that way, I guess you could say. So, I don't have much to say about it.
And that area used to be a thriving agricultural area.
There was 3 dairy farms. I used to climb the silos when I was a kid, but it's all gone now. So
That's,
if I can communicate with the other districts to help in any way, that's what I want to do.
well, you've got a lot of experience in as far as been there and done that, and, that's valuable. We discussed last time about what's going on and, the districts, the, zoning, we don't want to call it zoning so much, but, the happenings out there in the rural areas. So that's another, the land usage thing, the loss of agricultural land, so that's something we're gonna keep in the forefront. I guess District 3, the only thing I have is the, upcoming meeting with Congresswoman Sherry Biggs. It's gonna be at the Farm Center on the 28th. I believe that's a Wednesday at 6 p.m. And she wants it, she's communicated with the Farm Center, is gonna have a conference call tomorrow, I think, in the afternoon, and talk some more about it, and wants as many farmers as we can get there. And there's a roundtable sort of discussion. And one thing we want to keep in mind is that she's a national level, so, so we won't discuss so much about Oconee County unless it comes up and she asks us or whatever, but, more on the national level. Farm Bill's a big one, and, so that's,
If you have a second, I did have something came up this weekend. I know we've talked about, wood chip fuel generation plants a lot in the past. The former Georgetown County IP plant that shut down at the end of last year has been proposed as a biomass fuels plant. So as far as I'm aware, that will be one of the few, and something to watch if we're looking at kind of replicating that anywhere locally.
Are
So
they
we've talked
looking-
a lot about that.
are they looking at an area?
So they're, the International Paper Plant that closed down last year, they're looking at changing it into, and it's slated as a biofuels plant right now.
Do you have
And
any?
this is in Georgetown.
It is.
So that would be, I think what James, can I ask this? Are
Please.
you saying that that is something we probably should put on Sherry's radar? It's not in our district, however, it will be part of the EPA, part of the farm thing, and it needs to be discussed so that she will be aware that this is coming down the pipe and we would strongly support it.
So I think not only that, but which we should,
Right.
but if we're interested in replicating that somewhere else in the state at a later date, like this side of the state, where
Right.
it would be a viable drop-off point for pulpwood or something like that, seeing that process go through, seeing what the hurdles there are, and seeing if it's something that could be replicated somewhere else in the state, would probably be advantageous if it's something we're gonna advocate for in the future.
And probably we should keep our eyes open close, because I know that they say we can't, if it goes through, then yes, we want to be on top of it, because right now, our pulp is just getting, well, go back to,
Chipped up.
yeah.
It's just sitting on us.
It's sitting, and what's not's getting chipped down there at Seneca, getting buried. There's 2 or 3 subdivisions in Easley, and I've watched them just, and I don't think it's just pulp. I really think there was a lot of hardwood I was looking at that went down, and now it's just houses and apartments. And it's really sad, because someone that sold a lot of white pine and hardwood for furniture, that, it takes a long time for that to grow.
Yes, it does.
And there was some of that looked like virgin timber. Now, it could have had some red heart, I'm not saying it didn't, but it certainly didn't look like it when I watched it go to the ground. It was sad. So, but that, something like that, I did notice that North Carolina's getting a furniture company back. we need to kind of stay on top of that for our wood basket, because we have a lot of our, and forestry is part of the ag industry. We just need to try to help them as much as we can, because, a lot of that they were sending overseas, I think they have shut some of that down because of the tariffs. So
A
hopefully,
tremendous amount of it.
yes, so hopefully we can bring some of that back. So,
You know, it was so sad when Helene come through, I had, if I put a dollar amount to the white oaks, it just fell on my farm and ran it in the field. I mean, we're talking huge white oaks, red oaks, but there's no market for it. You're lucky if you can find somebody to even cut it. And if they cut it, you mainly just give it to them just because it's not bringing anything. We're talking white oak.
Yeah.
That used to be high dollar, and now the only thing you can get is, if you can get somebody to buy it for liquor barrels. That's the only thing right now, white oak's even considered for it, you know.
We do have a lot of those opening up in the county, right?
They are popular, so yeah.
might have a market for you,
May
Shirley.
have one.
But they'll charge you $3,800 to get that tree down, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, Charlie's right, you can't even get somebody to come haul off nice trees that you have to cut for whatever reason, or the storm got them. People don't even want them because they can't sell them, so it's sad. So any ideas on attracting the international paper folks this way would be really good. Anything we can think of or pursue, it would be wonderful.
I just wanna make sure it was on y'all's radar, that it was happening.
I wasn't aware, thank you. Thanks very much for that. So that's something we'll definitely keep in mind and work for.
will that have to go through deregulation? Is that?
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna be a long process, but right now, that's what it is slated as, primary use as biofuels for fuel generation, or biomass for fuel generation.
So they might get around some of that if it's biofuels as opposed to
Pure wood chip.
going on the grid for electricity.
But
Because
it is
Georgia can do
because there's
that.
such a large timber market there. It was one of IP's largest plants in the country.
Right.
And they have so much timber, it just kind of is foreseen as wood chip.
Right.
It sure would be awesome to have something like that in our county,
We need something.
pellets, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So is Greenwood still going, the pellet mill?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything change on it, but
Okay.
I
still
think it
TBD,
is.
I think. It's just such a long process for all of those to
It
get
is,
through.
and it's hard to get something up and going quickly.
Well, you don't hear anything for
Right.
8 or 9 months, and then something changes, and it takes 2 or 3 months for everybody to catch up with what it was that changed, and then it goes another 8 or 9 months, you don't hear anything else again.
We'll try to stay on top of it, because I know, that is one thing in District One. We have a lot of our, loggers, our timber guys that are just out of work because there's not a market.
I think you look at the Forest Service in Sumter and everywhere else too, it's the same DAR property,
Right,
everybody, it's the same thing. Timber industry's had a tremendous hit.
yes.
But it does not show in the retail end, does it? I mean, a 1x6 red oak board at Home Depot is like $35 for a little board.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
But we're shipping it out and importing it back in.
Good time to open a sawmill if you know anybody.
They opened that one back up across from us
Did they?
in Richland. Somebody from, Texas. And they were doing wood chips, but now they have sawdust piled everywhere.
Come
I
up
don't
Clendenin?
know exactly what they're
Clendenin?
doing now, but,
Rick Davis.
Oh, they did?
yeah, the old Davis
Oh,
lumberyard,
okay.
yeah. They brought a lot of equipment in.
Well, good.
Maybe if they get it going.
Hadn't heard about that.
That's great. I hope they get it going.
I
That's
do
great.
too.
Wood is so, it takes so long to grow it, and the trees are magnificent when they mature, and it's just a shame to see them go to waste, so let's keep going on that. Anything else? I kind of told everything about the May 28th meeting that I know of, except I asked Kim to honcho that one. I'll be out of town. But it looks like it should be a good meeting. She's very proactive, very interested in agriculture. Look at her newsletter. Go look at her newsletter. She's got a pretty thorough newsletter that her staff and she have composed. So May 28th at 6, it's a normal, the agendas I'll share with you. It's a normal welcome, here you go, and it's stages, you know, the agenda for regular meeting agenda. I can share that with you. But it's going to be at the Farm Center, and that's about all I know.
So just for information, we'll post that as there might be potentially a quorum of this group present. There won't be any mixed meetings, so it won't be a joint meeting, it won't be a meeting of this body. So please just keep that in mind, that there won't be any discussion of county business, since that is a partisan political event.
Good, that adds on to what I was saying about just keep it national, and we won't do any county business, so. But I hope everyone can come and meet Ms. Biggs. She's very good, I think, so she'll be good for us.
I have one question. James, just roughly, how much money do we as the county spend on tourism in the county now? Just, you may not have a number, I was just curious.
I wouldn't be comfortable even guessing. I don't have any idea, honestly. I know that the A-tax money that comes in is tremendous. I think that's, you know, a 7-digit number that comes in, and I think a portion of that is required to be spent on tourism and promotion type activities, and then a portion of it is for other stuff too.
Okay. I just wondered how that impacts agriculture, because we talk about, Oconee has been discovered, that's been talked about a lot in public forums.
Sure.
And, has tourism affected agriculture in a negative way?
I think it probably has done both. So I think there's things like Chattooga Belt that are an agricultural use that attract tourists specifically to come and look at things like that and go to their little distillery. And then, the parks where we have the RV camp and hookups and everything else in like South Cove is booked out for the entire year. But tourism and then kind of natural resources that are combined with that, but there's certainly conflict points. I think more of the conflict is with permanent development than tourism, really.
I've heard people make the comment, I come here for years camping and hiking, and I decided to move here.
Yeah.
I've heard that more than once,
Yeah, absolutely.
over the years. And I remember one time, my cousin went up into Nebraska years ago and called me and told me they saw a big billboard sign that said, "Come to beautiful Lake Huey and retire." That probably wasn't county money, but it was advertising, "Come to Oconee County,"
Right.
in the state of Nebraska. So, I'm just wondering how we're,
That's not one of the states we get a lot of calls from.
no, we don't. We don't.
Yeah.
But, I just curious how that, I won't say conflict,
It's certainly a double-edged sword, I would say,
Yeah.
yeah.
just something been in my mind, I've been thinking about it, it kinda, like you said, double-edged sword on a lot of things. Because people wants we got expensive land, but if you go to Connecticut and live for a year, you'll find out that we really don't have expensive land. And a lot of people come here because of that. So, and that's where a lot of our farmland's going.
Exactly right.
So, I think maybe we should just, take I won't say that, we're being recorded, never mind.
I think, I view Mr. Shirley and his group as an ally that we can work with. As far as the signage, he's been very helpful and willing to advise us on the sign situation, and likewise, they bring in the tax money and share it as far as, I think they do $75,000 worth of sort of grants twice a year to groups that ask for the money, that have a good cause that involves tourism. And so I see agriculture and tourism is linked on that good, on the positive side. And what happens after that, well, people come and they like us, and so they want to stay or come back. So that's the other side, but I view tourism as a valuable tool for us to partner with, to utilize. So if that makes sense. But
When you mention tourism, I've been asked by two different groups. Abbeville has horse trails and a government park, Parson Mountain Lake and all that, and four-wheeler trails. And I've been asked by two different groups, could we endorse or bring up Oconee County getting more, it would bring in more income for the county if we had that.
There's a lot of people that go to like, Burles Ford, Mountain Rest, and they ride and camp up there off Cassidy Bridge and different places. I don't know that years ago, there was not a charge, but, I mean, I don't know if they use the hook, I don't know, that would be part of Sumter, but, certainly would not be a bad idea. The state park doesn't advertise that they have camping for that with trails and horses or four-wheelers, but you're right, Charlie, there's some counties, not in our state, but in other states, Virginia's one of them, where they have four-wheeler, off-road ATV, trails and all of that, and of course, the horse trails are separate, and then they have the camping, and they charge for all of that.
I think they get $3, but you've got 25 miles in Abbeville you can ride, you got two different trails. And if you pay for one, you can ride the other, or vice versa. But, it really brings in a good income for Abbeville.
we do have some horse trails, I think. I've seen
You don't have four-wheelers, so.
not four-wheelers that I know of, but I've seen horse trails.
Let's see, we've got more government land actually up here than Abbeville does, you know.
There's a whole nother ball of wax there. They
Yeah.
don't want you riding too much on the four-wheelers on that Forest Service land, I
That's
don't
illegal.
think.
That's what I'm saying, that's what Abbeville is. That's government land. Something to think
Yeah,
about.
no, I put it on our list, so, the PRT committee does have a committee that meets, very similar to this body. That'd be great to bring to them if anybody wanted to kind of own that and bring it up.
No managed.
They've had those in Abbeville for 40 years,
It would
you
keep
know.
them off the road.
Yeah.
Well, in Virginia, they got towns connected to it. You
Yes.
go on your ATV to the town,
I think
get
you
your
have,
gas, eat,
yeah.
everything, and then
you have
hit
to
back to
pay
trail.
so much, and then you camp, and then, yeah, but you have, it brings in a lot of money for them. I think that's the Shenandoah Forest that it's connected to. So,
And I've seen horse camps likewise, where they have the trail,
You've read Abbeville.
trailhead goes into a camp. They
Parson
have the
Mountain,
stables and
yes, sir.
Pendleton
camps and
has
stuff.
horse trails, I know.
What?
Pendleton has horse trails on government land, I know.
At Clemson.
Clemson Forest is
Yeah.
big time.
We actually, and I know we're running out of time, but we actually camped at Parson Mountain, what Ken mentioned, the horse trails and the four-wheeler trails. And they had a nice campground down there with showers. They got a swimming area and everything right there at Parson Mountain Lake. And they tore down, I can't figure out why, but they tore down those nice, they were probably 5 years old. They tore those down and they put little buildings with one place to use the bathroom in it. No place to wash your hands, The others had showers, they had sinks, they had the whole 9 yards. And they tore those down to build this little square building, porta potty, I call it. I mean, it's unreal. I don't know why they would do that. And it's went downhill since. Nobody has nowhere to, wash or whatever.
Crazy.
I don't understand. Government.
Well, and they may have done that on purpose to discourage folks from coming, I don't know.
I know it might have got vandalized, but who knows? But I mean, that was a nice place at one time.
Well, y'all think of some things, some wording for the agricultural welcome signs and try to come to the 28th meeting. And I don't have anything else unless y'all do.
What time does it start? 6?
6. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
And a second? Second. Motion, all in favor?